right. An incredible day. And it is my honor to talk about the Conversationist of the Year. We had some incredible stuff happening, obviously, with the Artist of the Year, the pond tours, and all that good stuff. But my passion is connecting people with water the way nature intended it. So we're not building sterile features. We don't want to chlorinate it. We don't want ozone. We don't want any of these oxidizing things in there. We want to have life flourish inside the water feature. So the guy I'm going to talk about, the team I'm going to talk about, exemplifies all that. Every one of their single projects, it's all about nature. It's all about the riparian zones. If you've heard me talk about that before, it's that really cool area where the water meets the land. That area is responsible for more biodiversity than anything else on planet Earth. I mean, this is critical stuff. But this is also what makes our water features different. So it's not just building it, doing something mindlessly. The whole concept behind this stuff is actually to teach people about these things. So the person that I'm always looking for, they're going to be teachers. They're going to also, they have to have a biological mind. They have to think about how all that stuff works. But they're also trying to connect people. It's the number one thing I do. I love designing and building water features for zoos and aquariums and for all the different YouTube personalities out there that are connecting people through animal life. I mean, that is super powerful, and that's actually what brought me into this current industry. So I'm always looking for somebody that is going to have that similar mindset. And every time I'm with this person, we have some incredible conversations. And actually, oddly enough, and this is, you can't even script it. The guy that I'm thinking of and talking about and to get this current award was sitting at the bar, and I walked up to two of them, and he said, "Ed, perfect timing. We're talking about riparian habitats." And I'm like, "Of course you are. Because that's exactly what we do. We're always thinking about this stuff." And again, it's a different mindset. It's not for everybody. You know, and again, I love the art. I love the business. I love all the different components. But what really makes me tick inside is that connection with people to water the way nature intended it. So with that being said, it is my honor to give this award to Dan Upshur.
So fully didn't expect that at all. And it's something that's obviously massively passionate of mine is to replicate aquatic habitats. And starting out doing an aquatic ecology degree and coming through from that, but wanting to obviously make a difference to our aquatic environment. So I started working with, you call it like fish and wildlife, I think. And so I basically did that, but at the same time, as I finished my master's degree, I saw pond stars. And at the time, I was just completely besotted by, well, to be fair, goofy Americans doing their thing. Going, why can't we do this in the UK? And, well, you know, a few years later, put it against myself to start a company and progress further and further, and came up to Pondemonium 7 years ago now, which seems to have gone by so quickly. And now we're here. I've set up a water garden centre with my partner Emily, and really trying to change the way people are perceiving the water garden industry in the UK. And it's working, and people are amazed by what actually can be achieved. And of course, at the same time, making sure we're creating these riparian habitats and increasing biodiversity in people's gardens. And I'm sure all of you are very much aware that the impact we can have, even just on a small scale, because you can bring in a plethora of wildlife just to make the difference. And it's not just the wildlife, but what it does to people's habitats and lives. And that's what it's all about. So thank you very much.
Take a photo. Yeah.
Where's Brian?
Oh, this is just you. Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, we drink it here. That's right. Cheers, bro. Good job. Congratulations.
I have the honor of trying to describe, in fact, you know, I'm not going to do this. Diane Baker, where are you at? Come on up here with me. So, yes, I know. In the Artist of the Year presentation today, 4 separate artists reference Chris Baker and the impact that your husband had on them. And this is titled the Spirit Award. And Diane, if you could just describe to the group that didn't get a chance to know your husband, describe his spirit, because you were the one that knew him the best.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. He was the life of the party. He was everybody's friend. He had time for everyone. But most importantly, he loved his job. He loved building water features. When he came to America, he had no experience with the job he did in England, so he became a landscaper. He hated it. Wanted to build ponds because as a kid he played in the rock pools down in Cornwall, and he wanted to build ponds. And we found Aquascape through your mailers. One thing led to another, and we built a really successful business. But more than anything, he mixed his lust for life with work. So we had an amazing work-life balance. We had amazing friends that we met through the years in the industry, and the people here became his family. He would have done anything for anyone here, and if you ask anyone who knew him, he always had a smile on his face. He was diagnosed with terminal cancer at 46. They gave us 2 years, we got 8.
8.
In those 8 years, he lived more than everybody in this room put together.
Yep.
And from that, the Aquascape Foundation, all the projects here, Greg saw what it took for him to live the best life possible, and thus came the Chris Baker Spirit Award. And I really, to me, this is the best award ever, like personally. And anybody who gets it, well done. I really, really think you would have keep it full.
Yes, yes, and last year was Nick the Pond King. You know, in here. Spirit, phenomenal spirit. Alan Decker was 2 years ago. And this year, I made this decision. She asked me, she wants me to pick it. And this year I made the decision for a fellow Brit to get the award. Dan Upshur, back again. Chris Baker Spirit Award. I made this decision at the Aquascape Winter Retreat because you and Emily were in Costa Rica. And so here's a guy starting his business, took his better half, they were coming to Costa Rica, they were coming to the Aquascape Winter Retreat, and I'm like, this is what Chris would do. Chris travels the world, Chris does this thing. So everybody, this is Dan Upshur, a second award in a row, the Chris Baker Spirit Award. So Dan is the 2024 recipient of the Chris Baker Spirit Award, which Chris was your husband for
25 and a half years.
And we lost him
2021, 3 years ago.
And we created an award at Aquascape to represent the Chris Baker Spirit Award. Let them know what Chris Baker's spirit was.
He was somebody who lived life to the fullest, tried to help everyone, was the life of the party in any situation, and but most importantly, it was all about living and sharing his experiences and encouraging people to be their best self.
And I selected Dan as now the third recipient of the Chris Baker Spirit Award because of your lifelong pursuit of adventure and journey, which is another thing that you both had in common, and your spirit, which is one of living life to the fullest. And so it was an honor at 2024 Pondemonium to give the Chris Baker Spirit Award for you, Dan Upshur. And as soon as I said it, you burst out in tears. Because
It's so well deserved.
Oh, thank you so much.
We had the opportunity to get to know you.
Yeah.
Not often, but when we would travel to England and occasionally get together, and he really, really liked you. And then, and I saw you in Costa Rica doing all the things you were doing, and it just was, you're the perfect recipient. Like you play hard, you work hard, and that's
the way to do it.
Yeah.
congratulations, Dan.
Yes, so happy for you. Now don't let me down. Keep it up.
We're only just starting. You know?
Yes.
Thank you very much for
Yes.
Pay it forward.
And just like I said, Chris is a great man, and had some good times together. And, I've loved hearing about your journeys and stuff, and I think the play hard and work hard. It's your ethos, and I think a lot of us are very similar for the fact that we want to do that. We want to go and party, and we want to go and learn, and we want to go and educate ourselves and educate other people. And yes, thank you very much.
It's a work-life balance.
Massive
Work-life balance.
Deserved.
Yes.
Deserved.
You deserved it. I was so happy. So happy.
So you have become Conservationist of the Year because you are the prototypical model of it, right? So Conservationist of the Year, in my opinion, is somebody who is going to educate people, but in order to educate somebody, you have to fully understand it. So you eat, breathe, sleep it, right? I mean, the riparian zones, the importance of water, how it interacts with the land, the aquatic vegetation, the different types of pollinators, the amphibians, and all these different little elements that really make an aquatic feature actually come to life.
Yeah.
So water the way nature intended. It's not a sterile environment. We want stuff inside of it. So unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand those components. And, people are going to look in the water and they say, I want a clear swimming pool. And it's like, well, you really don't want that. You want to have some life. And I know, talking with you over the years and seeing the work you do and all the education and all these different things that you're doing, I mean, it's exactly what the goal is. And, water is the most important compound on our planet, and we need to teach people about that incredible resource, and it is a living environment.
Yeah, and I think that it makes the biggest differences by adding the plants, but understanding it from then adding the fish maybe to be the grazers, and then working with water treatments that have been thought through properly to phosphate bind or to have a blend of beneficial bacteria. And something we've started to do a lot in Aqua Eden is really promote how beneficial bacteria really can be the lifeblood, or is actually in fact the lifeblood of any ecosystem.
It really is.
We're getting people turning around the most hideous of ponds, that green and almost an eyesore of bore, into actually something that's becoming a pleasant experience for them. And it's really quite nice to see that more people, more ponds that are cleaner and clearer. There's some horrific stats that have been coming out over the years, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm so, I suppose, determined to help people, empower them to be able to look after and restore their back garden habitats. But actually then that leads to, which is something that you're really passionate about as well, is the homes to oceans thing.
Correct.
And that resonates exponentially with me, because if we can educate people in their homes and we can actually just give them that little bit of empowerment, then they'll suddenly think, okay, well, I'm going to change my detergent. I might actually think about what food I'm eating. And then suddenly, a water feature isn't just a pretty thing to look at. It can completely change their lives
100%.
with how they view our natural environment. And then next thing you know, we're then getting people on board with actually protecting and conserving our planet.
Absolutely. No, I mean, you hit it right on the head, and I think it's a huge opportunity, and it starts small. When you start thinking of the ocean, it's vast, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
But a little
yeah.
backyard ecosystem, it's like, I can understand this. So it's easier for people to digest it, but actually the inner workings are very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of the same dynamics are actually happening in a backyard pond as well as the ocean.
Yeah. And it's amazing, man. So this year at Chelsea, flower show, 2 young guys, lived done by me, worked with the Bowel Cancer Society, I think it was.
Okay.
And just it's fully about that. It's about educating about the importance of looking after your microbiome. Right? And as you said, if you can care for it in any ecosystem, it doesn't have to be wet.
Yeah.
It could be desert, it could be rainforest, wherever it may be. You look after the tiny little things that we can't necessarily see, and actually everything else falls into place. And I think we've got an opportunity here, and I guess that's why you stayed at Aquascape, is because now we can shout and we can make a difference by educating, inspiring, empowering people to care. And I'm really looking forward to sort of having this confidence boost, working with Aqua Eden, with Emily, and really showing people what can be done and changing this industry in the UK. I've always wanted to do it.
I'm in. Cheers.
Thank you very much.